It was a rainy Thursday afternoon, the kind where thunder grumbled low in the distance, and every window pane shivered under the wind's breath. Inside a small roadside diner on the outskirts of a quiet town, a fragile young woman sat alone at a corner booth. Her name was Lily. She was 22, born with cerebral palsy, and moved through life with quiet grace and a noticeable limp. Despite her challenges, she carried a kind smile wherever she went, the kind that made strangers feel a little lighter just by seeing it. That day, though, her smile was about to be tested in the cruelest way. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing up for those who can't fight back, please take a second to like this video, comment, share it with others, and subscribe to KindHeartsHub. It helps spread stories that remind us what compassion really looks like. The diner was mostly empty, just a few truckers, a waitress cleaning counters, and 3 young men sitting in a booth near the center. They looked out of place, all swagger and noise, the kind of trouble you could sense before it started. Their laughter was loud, careless, and sharp, like broken glass hitting concrete. When Lily entered, balancing her tray with trembling hands, they noticed her instantly. One nudged the other, whispering something that made them all snicker. She tried to ignore it, taking her seat near the window and ordering a slice of apple pie and a cup of hot tea. The waitress, old and kind, smiled warmly at her, telling her to take her time. But the laughter grew louder. One of the men, tall, wearing a leather jacket and a smirk, stood up and sauntered over. "What's wrong with your leg?" he said mockingly, his voice echoing through the quiet diner. "Did you forget how to walk straight?" His friends roared with laughter. Lily froze, her fingers gripping the edge of her table so tightly her knuckles turned white. She didn't look up. She just stared at her tea, her lips quivering slightly as she tried to hold back tears. The waitress hurried over, telling them to stop, but the man waved her off with a sneer. "Relax, lady, we're just talking." Then it happened, quick and cruel. The man leaned down, pretending to whisper something to Lily, then flicked the brim of her hat off her head. When she tried to pick it up, he pushed her shoulder, causing her to stumble. Her tea spilled, the cup clattering against the floor. Laughter filled the diner again, hollow and heartless. When Lily tried to stand, the man slapped her cheek, not hard enough to knock her down, but hard enough to break something inside her. The entire diner went silent. Even the rain outside seemed to pause for a second. The waitress shouted for them to leave, but they just tossed a few bills on the counter, laughing as they walked out. Lily sat there, shaking, her hand pressed to her face. Tears streamed down silently, her chest heaving with short, painful breaths. She looked around. Some people had turned away, pretending not to see. Others just stared, unsure of what to do. Ion of a girl the world had mistaken for weak. An hour passed. The rain outside had stopped, leaving the parking lot shining like a mirror beneath the dim lights. Then the door opened with a deep creak, and the sound of heavy boots filled the air. 5 bikers walked in, big, rough-looking men dressed in dark jackets with patches on their backs that read, "The Guardians MC." They were regulars, the kind who always tipped well, laughed loud, and treated the staff like family. The waitress greeted them with a nervous smile, still shaken by what had happened earlier. The leader of the group, a broad man with a gray beard and kind eyes named Hank, noticed her pale face right away. "Everything all right, Rosie?" he asked in a deep, gravelly voice. She hesitated, then shook her head slightly. Hank's eyes followed hers to the corner, where Lily still sat quietly, trying to make herself small. He saw the red mark on her cheek, the spilled tea stains on the floor, the trembling in her hands. His jaw tightened. "Who did this?" he asked softly. Rosie tried to brush it off, saying it wasn't worth causing more trouble. But Hank didn't move on. He crouched beside Lily's table, his voice low and gentle as he asked what happened. At first she couldn't speak. Then, between tears and pauses, she told him. The laughter, the slap, the humiliation. The room grew silent again, but this time the air felt different. Heavy, charged with a quiet rage. Hank's expression darkened. He stood up slowly, his hand tightening into a fist. "Did they say where they were going?" he asked Rosie. She nodded toward the gas station across the road. Without another word, Hank turned to his crew. "Boys," he said simply, "we've got something to fix." The 5 men walked out into the night, their boots thudding against the wet pavement. Inside, Lily watched them leave through the window, her heart pounding. She didn't know what they would do, but something in her gut told her it wasn't going to be quiet. 10 minutes later, the sound of motorcycles roared across the lot. The bullies, the same ones who had hurt Lily, were standing outside the gas station, laughing and lighting cigarettes. The laughter stopped the moment they saw the headlights approaching. The bikers pulled up in a semicircle, their engines rumbling low. Hank stepped off first, towering over the young men, his presence commanding. He didn't shout. He didn't need to. He just stared at them, calm, cold, and unflinching. He spoke slowly, each word deliberate. "You think it's funny to hurt someone who can't fight back?" The young men tried to laugh it off, saying it was just a joke, but Hank took a step closer, his eyes burning. "That girl's got more courage in her than all of you combined." They backed away, muttering excuses, but Hank wasn't interested in their words. He didn't lay a hand on them. He didn't need to. The sight of 5 massive bikers surrounding them, their faces filled with disgust, was enough. Hank made them walk back into the diner with him. When the door opened again, every eye turned toward the group. The bullies looked pale now, their arrogance gone. Hank motioned toward Lily's table. "You owe her something," he said firmly. The tallest of them stammered an apology, his voice shaking. I'm sorry," he said. Lily didn't respond. She just looked at him, not with hate but with a quiet sadness that made his eyes drop to the floor. Hank leaned closer to him and said, "You remember that feeling, that shame, because one day you'll meet someone else who's different, and you'd better remember this moment before you open your mouth." When they left, the diner felt different, quieter but warmer somehow. Hank sat beside Lily, smiling gently. "You did nothing wrong, sweetheart," he said. "You hold that head up high." She smiled faintly, whispering a soft thank you. The bikers stayed for a meal, sharing stories and laughter, until Lily began to smile again. Her cheeks flushed not with embarrassment but with gratitude. Later that night, as she prepared to leave, Hank walked her to her car. The rain had started again, a gentle drizzle this time. "You know," he said softly, "some people see strength as loud and angry, but you've got the kind that's quiet, steady, and unbreakable. Don't ever let anyone take that from you." Lily nodded, her eyes glistening. She got into her car, waved, and drove away. Hank stood there for a while, watching the taillights disappear into the night, the rain washing away the last traces of the cruelty that had stained that little diner just hours before. Sometimes, heroes don't wear capes. Sometimes, they wear leather jackets, carry heavy hearts, and ride through storms to stand up for what's right. But the real hero that night, the one who showed true courage, was Lily. Because despite everything, she still believed the world could be kind. And maybe, just maybe, that belief is what changed everything. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to KindHeartsHub, and leave a comment below. Your words might inspire someone else to stand up for kindness, just like those bikers did for Lily.